Most men lose the woman they love not because they're bad men, but because they unknowingly make her the center of their universe. Today, I'll show you how to become the kind of man a woman feels safe, excited, and deeply invested in long term, without chasing or acting insecure. This is the same framework I've used and taught to hundreds of clients of mine who stopped getting left, replaced, or taken for granted and actually pursued the kind of woman who they can imagine building a life with. And here's the counterintuitive truth. The more your relationship feels like your lifeline, the faster she loses attraction. Because women don't bond to men who need them to stand on their own 2 feet. They bond to men whose lives already stand solid without them. And listen, if you've experienced this for yourself, you know how hard it is to start over. If you are looking for the right woman to build your life with, without wasting time and money on the wrong ones, you can click the first link in my bio and book a call with me directly. Let's jump into the video. I want you to think of your life as an impressive building, a building which you've poured a lot of time and effort into building from the ground up. You thought of every little detail that would make this building as attractive as possible in every possible way. So you've built your life on solid ground. You're not on a floating dock in the middle of the sea. So if the relationship were to be removed, the building itself would not collapse. And in this situation, you aren't just hoping the building remains in one piece because you've poured a lot of time into it. You just know it will. Your sense of stability comes from the bedrock you're standing on, not the woman you're enjoying top floor view with. And you have your own support teams like your friends, your hobbies, and your ambitions that make your life worth living. But if you lean 100% of your weight on her, what happens? The structure you spent years working on will be undermined. So by keeping your separate lives intact, you're making sure the building can stand on its own, even in harsh weather conditions where the building may be shaken up or tested. So in a way, you become like a fortress. She can find safety and security and not a tent that collapses the moment she abandons ship. So take this context, for example. When you have visitors, you don't give the full rundown to the ins and outs of the building. If you show every single vulnerability and thought that went into construction, it just creates a crowded feeling, like a room that has too much furniture, and no one can really breathe there or appreciate it. So the idea of keeping some things to yourself maintains the excitement and interest in the relationship, and it gives her the luxury of a stress-free space without feeling like she has to deal with a man who is more like a soft toy than a reliable man. This is what we call outcome independence in a nutshell. It's the ability to detach from any given outcome and be able to handle your own without a strong fear of loss. This is what fundamentally keeps your woman highly invested in you. But outcome independence alone won't keep your woman obsessed with you long term. Unless, of course, you know how to encourage a woman to continue being good to you. Which takes me to my next point. I want you to imagine for a moment you are playing a game, because your relationship is kind of like a game in a way. And you are trying to win the season with your woman. When an athlete makes a great play, what does the coach do? A coach doesn't just keep quiet. They acknowledge it to inspire more of those kind of plays. And most people do this subconsciously already. And by the same token, if your woman does something that aligns with the kind of relationship that you want, you can play back that win for her. So by focusing on what she did right, you make her want to repeat that performance again because it feels good to succeed, right? So you don't give out participation medals for just showing up. You give them for very specific achievements, and then it actually feels good and she gets a hit of dopamine. If the reward is blurry, she just won't know how to earn it again because it's just not clear. But by making that reward explicit, like a specific compliment or a special night out, you create a clear if this, then that type of thing. She learns exactly which plays lead to a victory, so to speak. Because think about it, a coach doesn't penalize a foul on Monday, but ignore it on Tuesday. If the rules of the game change every single day, the athlete just gets frustrated and just stops performing. Being consistent means she always knows where the boundaries lie, so that she has a reliable view of you. And it removes also the anxiety of what mood is he in today. and replaces it with the security of, I know exactly how this game is played and I will act accordingly. This is basic reward and reinforcement, encouraging good behavior to continue while simultaneously keeping bad behavior at bay by not rewarding it. So you have outcome independence and you have reward. But here's one more element to keeping your woman obsessed with you in the long term, without her getting bored or possibly entertaining other men. Because a gallery that never changes its art becomes like a dusty hallway that people just stop visiting. So to maintain a high level of interest, you're going to ensure there is always a grand opening scheduled on your calendar. It's the scheduled event that keeps the venue relevant and prevents the doors from swinging shut. Let me explain further. So if you only show one type of art in a gallery, your audience are just going to get bored because it's predictable, it's common, it's familiar. So think of dating as different genres. The fun dates are your pop art. So these are vibrant, high energy activities. The formal dates, on the other hand, are your classics. So think of a romantic dinner, for example, in fine dining. They are more timeless in nature. And the intellectual dates are more your avant garde pieces. So they are deep and mentally stimulating. So they're meant to engage her imagination. The idea is to create a spectrum of emotion, because the sense of variety ensures your gallery of dating remains multifaceted, multidimensional, rather than just another repetitive gift shop which you can just anticipate. So in retrospect, you aren't just taping posters to a wall. You're adjusting the lighting, choosing the frames, and making sure the temperature is perfect. It's the difference between let's grab a drink and I've created this specific emotional experience for us that we can cherish down the line. So you're stepping out of the comfort of a blank white room to create an environment that actually keeps her excited. And when you think about it practically, you want to aim for one date night per week that mixes fun, formal, and intellectual in a spontaneous yet unpredictable manner. Because you want to prioritize effort beyond routine comfort, so that you can pull her out of the familiar and the stressful into a world that hints at her fantasies, her desires, and her needs. Because your role is to lead the tone of the relationship. That's most important, without making it a battle for power, which actually takes me to my last point. Because being the captain of a ship doesn't mean you're better than the crew. It just means you're the one standing at the helm. And in turn, your woman responds to it because it provides a sense of direction. So when the sea gets choppy, she isn't looking for a sit down meeting. She's just looking to see if someone is actually at the helm. So you are leading firstly through action. A captain doesn't sit in the cabin shouting through a megaphone about how in charge they are. This would be a little pretentious, right? They are the first ones on deck when a storm hits to take care of it. You don't have to tell people you're the leader, you just handle the situation that comes up until everyone naturally looks to you when a decision needs to be made. And it's the same in your relationship. Commands are often more effective than questions. So if there's a leak in the cabin, a captain doesn't ask, "Hey, do you think maybe we should plug this there or remove that?" No, they say, "Plug X and Y and move on." Because the thing is, questions create a burden of choice and uncertainty, whereas a clear command removes the guesswork and actually creates a safe harbor for clarity. And you might be wondering then, how exactly do you get this privilege in a relationship? And the simple answer is straightforward. It's by developing responsibility. You didn't get that captain's head just by buying it at a gift shop. You earn it by navigating smaller boats first in rough weathers. So your dominance isn't just a personality quirk. It's the muscle memory of someone who has carried weight and actually went through shit. As much as possible, you always lead through action, not words, because words are cheap, and if they don't align with the things you're doing, you just look weak. And the only way to make her feel safe and excited is by being reliable and a little dangerous. And by dangerous, I don't mean violent, just capable of protecting her and showing her a genuinely good time doing that on a regular basis without over investing early on or acting like a fool. So if you're serious about building a relationship that actually lasts, not one where you're guessing, over investing, or hoping she doesn't leave, then the next step is choosing the right woman from the start. That's why I put together a process that shows you how to properly test for interest, character, and long term compatibility before you emotionally or financially invest. If you want my direct help with that, click the first link in my bio and book a call. And we'll look at your situation, where the things usually go wrong, and whether I can help you fix it. And listen, of course, knowing the mechanics of keeping her hooked will already give you incredible results. But unless you choose the right woman, none of this would really work. The woman you are with must have interest in you and a decent character. That's why in this video, I break down how to test a woman properly to ensure you don't waste time on the wrong woman and actually find the best possible one for you. So watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.